Mr. Dethu.
Hey, Athron.
Man, good to be back here with you again. Wow, it's been a while, huh? Since that first podcast we did, I think.
Yeah,
You
it
were
was
maybe
like 2 years ago.
Honestly, I think it was almost 3.5 years ago.
Oh, really?
It's been a while. And who would have imagined just the shit that's gone down since then? I know it's the cliche thing to say now, but you sort of look at anything pre-COVID and you just go, what were we doing then again? What was going on in the world? We almost took for granted, right? The whole
It's so true. Yeah,
so much has changed.
I was. I just posted a photo from a few years ago, and I thought it was from 3 years ago. It's and then my friend said, no, when we were there, it was just 2 years ago. But it's okay because
it feels
of COVID.
forever ago because it was pre-COVID. BC before COVID. It's just man, it's crazy. Hey, so we've caught up a few times over this period, but how dramatically do you feel like your life changed just in terms of, because you're so involved in events and bands and entertainment, that's sort of, been your whole bread and crust and focus. How much did you feel your life shift in this whole period?
It's I'm the biggest, the most dramatic change in my life is in terms of music. I started organizing bands, top 40 bands, which I never really did before. Because
as in you're doing that now since COVID. Yeah. I never thought I'd hear you say those words.
I don't know. I was offered to, as soon as the COVID came, of course, everybody was just realized, oh my God, it's become, you're suffering, right? But then it turns out that people think that, okay, whatever music it is, this guy must know what he's doing, because actually my background is punk rock, so I don't really know about the top 40 band, but I know people here, same as you, I know. I think I know people, and then I started doing this. I became a consultant. It's a really new job for me.
Right.
But it's actually, the difference is top 40 band and indie or punk rock band or rock bands, original songs. But so it was not easy in the beginning for me, because I have to learn about who's the biggest top 40 cool top 40 band who could attract attention.
So you're basically being I guess it always works like that, right? If someone's field isn't music, but they know that you're a leading person in the field of music, they mightn't specifically think, it has to be punk rock, which is your specialty.
Yeah.
But if they know you work in the field of music and they want to put on a top 40 event to try and build people up again for in the COVID times, they come to you because you know about music. So
maybe that which I didn't realize, but it was quite hard for me in the beginning, because usually how I work is I will start the trend, make something cool, and then people will come. Not following what people want, and then I learn. But when you're suffering and when you're really in big trouble and everything, you become more creative. So and then after I did one for this place, and then people started asking me to be the music consultant for them. It's like, oh, okay.
So build from there. So what's the specific thing that you were sort of asked to do? People wanted to do more top 40 acts because they knew it brought more people in a time where they needed more people. Is that the main push?
No, it's actually, I think, in a way, maybe because also I've been managing quite a few bands and everything. I really know as you said, I really know what's going on here. It's not just about top 40 band, but also to create the coolness. So they give me freedom to do my own caption and everything. Just do it like how you do it, how you do your caption usually. So,
what sort of venues have you been working with?
These days I work a lot with for being consultant for Wishing Well and Warung Made.
Yeah,
and other places I brought bands to Shotgun Social and a few other places.
Sure.
X Bar and all.
So it's still like, I mean, they've still got totally the Dethu touch. It's not like it's just a. It's funny because when you say top 40, you sort of you get this, especially as a musician, you sort of immediately get this impression of just the ultimate cheese sort of platter. But like, I've seen what you're doing at those places, and they're still the Dethu style cool music events. So it's more just about bringing your touch and making bringing some popularity to the venue.
I didn't realize about that. I think it's not just as simple as bringing top 40 bands I choose because then I realized also because of my own touch and also so I enjoy it now, and it's not easy. I mean, like, of course you still need to use your brain, but during this COVID time, the more you use your brain, it makes you feel alive.
Yeah, it's really true. Hey, it's a funny position. Like, I think a lot of people, usually when you get depressed, there's a feeling of real being alone, and being the only one that's not good enough. Like that's what comes with depression, right? You feel like everyone else is successful except me. But something about this COVID time, everyone felt like they were on the same level. Like if you were struggling as an artist, you didn't feel like I'm the only one struggling. You felt like, well, everyone's struggling. Yes. So every creative thing I come up with is a step ahead, right? Like it's something that I'm doing that, against this whole situation we're in. So I felt that too.
How about you? Yeah.
Well, really similar. Yeah, I felt. I mean, the times that I struggle, I guess I'm a typical over-emotional musician who, over the years, has struggled a lot with depression and anxiety, all that stuff that comes with that type of vocation.
But at least your legs is
better. My legs are getting better. Yeah, my restless leg syndrome. But I felt like all of a sudden, anything I did creatively was exciting because everyone was in the same position. I didn't feel like I was the one at the bottom of the heap struggling as a musician and why did I choose this artist life? Yeah, there's something about it that...
You've become a really great video editor or a video maker even.
Yeah, well that's where I've put all my focus and that I felt that was really exciting. Like, and I wouldn't have done that. I would never have...
Oh, you wouldn't?
Well, I wouldn't have because... I did start going into video editing just to do my own music videos because it's one of those things you only trust yourself for the creative output of what you're making. But I was so busy with gigs before COVID that I wouldn't have spent... I mean, I've spent thousands of hours on that computer staring at the screen, working out video animation, and
it's very impressive, man.
Oh, cheers! Yeah.
It's amazing. I was surprised. Holy shit, man!
Yeah, well, it's funny. I mean, you go into it, and then suddenly it's a year and a half. Almost 2 years later, and you're like, holy shit, I've put a lot of hours into this. Like, that's a lot of downtime during the COVID era. Like, and the thing is with video editing, man, you just end up getting sucked into a vortex. You forget what time it is. So with guitar, you might practice for an hour or two and then go, oh, that's enough. But with video editing, 10 hours go by and you've literally put 10 hours a day into practicing something, So, yeah, it's just one of those things. And it's such a beautiful visually artistic art that it's really enjoyable. Like I love it.
Yeah, and you think as soon as COVID finish, you will become like, okay, I'm ready for the world.
Yeah,
I'm a musician, it's a video editor.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people have gone through that as well, which is exactly what you're talking about. Like, you expand your abilities. So when the gigs come back, I can't wait to gig again. But I also now realize, well, now I can travel and stop anywhere and work on video editing, and I'm not confined to a stage or confined to where there's someone booking me for a gig. Whereas before I'd have to mark my movements by where I could perform and get paid to perform. So, I mean, for you too, like if ever there's, your repertoire of types of events and things you put on now, like that's awesome. It expands your whole vocabulary of what you do.
Other than that, it turns out that other job that just came up to me as easily. Also, writing. So many medias asked me to do writing for them, like whatever it is. I mean, and these days I just thought because too many, so I just put certain amount of price, and then they just, oh, it's too expensive, and yeah, you can find someone who became like that.
Well, that's the beauty when you've got a few sort of guns in your holster. If someone really wants you can. If you already know you've got a certain capability, you can name your price, and if they don't want to pay that, they can find someone else.
I didn't do that before,
right?
But now, because so many of them came to me, I just thought, oh, they really need me. I didn't realize.
Yeah, nice.
So I just put the price, and then
it's the seller's market. It's the day two market.
And then I was asked to do a biography for my new really close friend, and she's a very, very famous news TV presenter before. And
Who's that? Are you allowed to say who?
Sandrina Malakiano. Right. Now she's one of my bestest friends, and then when I really I need to buy more whiskey.
Is that like the first thing you think every time you wake up?
Yeah. You're not?
Oh, mate, yeah, that goes without saying. I think it when I'm going to sleep and when I'm waking up.
So I just so when people, when media came to me, it's like, hey, I would like you to write about the Bali music scene and everything. Okay, this is the price. Can't you give us? Can you reduce the price? And I just said, I'm writing a biography of this lady. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, nice. So then you use that as the MO to sort of push nice. Oh, that's great. So you've already started that, like writing her biography?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's a big task.
Yeah, and I'm writing a biography of Navikula as well.
Oh, cool,
but
man.
that's more of a labor of love.
Mm.
And I look happy. Maybe that's why I need whiskey a lot. So I'm not anxious all the time.
So you are. That's a lot. You've actually got a lot more on than I realized.
Yeah, two biographies, and then all this year, and this is October already.
Wow, because that's a lot of focus. Like writing a book.
Yeah,
especially a biography of someone else, where clearly you know the Navikula story back to front because you've been part of their journey, but to write someone's biography, it's a lot of in-depth sitting down and focusing your attention on the way to map out that story, right?
That's true. Yeah. Not like writing an article for media.
Yeah.
Because you've been doing it all the time, and this is okay. But writing about the Bali music scene, what's happening, or what should we do? You have any different insight about Bali music scene? So you can just use 3 hours. You can do it like biography. Yeah, the in depth, and then
it's a long-term project.
Yeah, it has to the words. It has to be sounded beautiful, but at the same time still easy to be understood. Yeah, not easy.
Yeah,
I'm actually very stressed out.
Because okay. Because there is a fine line between giving appropriate information on someone's life, like in factual format,
yes,
and then also making sure it's entertaining, making sure it's really fun to read.
Yeah.
Like that, and like you're the master of storytelling, right? That's always been your angle with getting Superman is Dead and managing them out into the world, and any band you've looked after, like your whole drive is tell a story.
Yes,
so I guess a biography is really taking that to the ultimate level. It's a whole life story full of stories.
Yeah. It's not easy, man. It's very challenging, but in a way, I feel very, very respected, even though it means I should have had more time to drink whiskey and hang out with you. But no,
it always comes back to the whiskey.
But then at the same time, if I can be successful, with these two biographies this year, I think I can in 2022 I can retire, man. Just at Tejakula, I will just hang out with you and just like
mate, there's always room up there.
Yeah.
It's just me and my volleyball called Wilson just sitting there. Mate, we could do with some more company. Could definitely do with some more company. Oh man, so you've got a deadline for those books, or is it more up to you?
Deadline for Sandrina is in 2 weeks.
Oh, really? Wow. No wonder you're stressed.
And for Navikula, as long as this year is fine.
Okay.
So I can.
And you're close to finishing the book for Sandrina?
For Sandrina, no.
Like that 2 weeks is pretty close. Like, are we talking?
Yeah,
you're gonna sort of fall over the finish line, like that guy that just sort of dies as his hand stretches out and touches the finish line.
But but for writing, if you're writing lyrics and everything, but I don't know if it's the same or not. But for writing, as long as you already have the what do you call it, the foundation, the structures, it'll be pretty easy. So usually what I do is I just write, and then I already got the basic of the story. So in the end, what they like about me, what people like about me, is the way I tell the story. So I just change that using my own style. That's all.
Okay. Yeah.
And this is also already good because why I talk about retire, because this news presenter is my really close friend right now. She's very famous and everything, and then she just, when we started becoming like close friend and everything, and it turns out that she's been following what I've been doing and everything, and then when we're closer, hey, you should write about biography. It has to be you. I don't want anybody else.
Oh, that's great. I mean, that's what you want, right? Like you actually want to have a good friendship, I think, with the person you're writing a biography about. I'm sure that's not the standard across the world, but I imagine it would help if you're. I mean, I think for all good. I think when you read a biography, you can tell if the person really hung out with that person they're writing about, or whether they're just writing based on interviews they read and footage they've seen and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. And so the navicular one is more. Did they ask you to do it as well, or they?
No, it's so we started chatting about this. Actually, I would like to make their biography a few years ago.
Okay.
After my biography about Superman is dead, right? And then people really love it. I just thought, okay, after this, it should be Navicula because they deserve it. But then it didn't really happen because I don't know what happened, and I was still in Jakarta, and then my marriage fucked up and everything, so I forgot about anybody else. Yeah. But then 25th year of them. This year is 25th year of Navicula.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
25 years of Navicula. That's wild.
25 years. And then I started hanging out with them again. I mean, like drinking is like, bro, before you would like to, you said you would like to write about a biography about Navicula. Don't you think this is the time for you to start thinking about writing it? Because this is our 25 year anniversary. I was like, oh, this is the best time. I was like, oh yeah, for sure. So, and we started talking already what we're gonna do and blah blah. And then I was like, holy shit, this is gonna be really, really good.
That's great, man. I mean, 25 years. That's a real marking point.
Yeah, and especially also because I know them really well, and I respect them so much, and I think. It's not just about me writing a biography, and also at the same time, I have like a special ambition for Indonesian music scene, especially. They're already somewhere, right? For their reputation, and they're already like, let's say, in top 25 rock bands in Indonesia, something like that. But I would like people to know more about them. You know, like you should give like another level of respect to these guys.
It's interesting. I was talking to Ian Wyan Joss recently about that. He was telling me, I'm not totally aware of this, but he was telling me that there isn't any really good in-depth documentaries that go into a lot of famous bands in Indonesia and the real behind the scenes of them. Like, and there needs to be more of that. And I guess that's what a biography does. That's what it will do. I mean, because it's so good to follow a journey and get a real insight in, especially in a country like Indonesia. When you've got a 25-year backdrop of a band's history, you've got a big political backdrop as well to cover. Yeah. I mean, you're not just. I mean, if you did a 25-year history of an Australian band, you'd have a lot to say about the Australian band, and maybe technology changed a bit over the 25 years. But you're not going to have the same kind of real changes in the politics and the social dilemmas of the society as a whole within that, you know, which shapes a band, which shapes their voices, and especially a band like Navikula, which is so outspoken politically. There's going to be a lot of their growth affected by what's going on in politics and what's going on in Indonesia and the laws and the environment and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because why I'm so excited also with this, because I remember now these days to be green, eco-friendly and everything is such a big deal, such a cool thing to do. In 2004, I didn't tell you about this for the Bali Rooftop, the previous edition, but so we were in the same room. This guy, he was really known as the Golden Ears, because most of the bands that he produced and everything, the guy from Sony Music Indonesia. So Navikula signed up with Sony in the end, and it was just as easy as like, hey, Dethu, Superman's Dead doing really well and everything. And what other band do you think is good from Bali? It's like Navikula.
Yeah.
And I said, you think so? Yeah, but I'm not gonna manage a band that I don't like, because I think they're very special and everything. Oh, okay. Few weeks later, do you think Navikula will say yes if I sign them? It's like, oh, of course. It is as easy as that, man.
Wow.
So they came, and then
I love it that he's like, do you think they'll say yes? It's like, usually the band's sitting there going, do you think they'll even notice us? Like, that's a great flip of the coin.
Because with Superman is Dead, it wasn't easy before, because it took him like 6 months.
Well, they paved the way for Navikula, I guess. I mean, if it takes Superman is Dead all that time to prove what's coming out of Bali, it's like a perfect example is, you know, what was the first band to come out of Seattle? Was it Nirvana that broke the ground, or sound? But you know, as soon as those bands broke the stage, everyone's like, who else is coming out of Seattle? Yeah,
that's so true. So what we didn't realize also before, it's just because my background from punk rock, so I didn't really understand about this mainstream music industry and everything. I realized a decade later, So he's golden ears, but actually he's just picking. Okay, Green Day is really the trend right now, so he just picked 3 biggest punk rock bands in Indonesia. Just put, and then.
So he was the A&R rep. Is that who you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So that's why you're calling him Golden Ears, because he's the guy that was listening and then pushing.
Yes, he's the A&R, and then he's very well known in Indonesia. And then, but with Navikula. And then I realized I love Navikula more than SID, musically speaking at the time. But the badassness, it was Superman's Dead. Yeah, because they were like cool and it's easier.
That's the real punk rock.
Yeah, real punk rock, and it's easier for me to promote them because like wow, I don't give a shit about the musical quality and everything, because hey man, punk rock is situationist international. Sex Pistol, they wore chain here and what do you call it, a padlock and everything, because everybody, because Malcolm McLaren really understand about everybody is an artist. So if you can't buy gold or silver around you, then whatever around you, you can use it as an accessories. That's how punk rock began. And also because John Lydon came to his store, Sex Boutique store, and he wore I Hate Pink Floyd. That's how punk rock started.
Really? I haven't heard that story. Wow.
Yeah, you know, and then Sid Vicious, he couldn't really play.
How dare he hate Pink Floyd? That's the whole point, right?
Yeah. You know, like all of this super group and everything. But because for him, everybody has the same chance. That's why how I love this punk rock ideology. You know, like so egalitarian. But with Superman, with Navikula, from the very beginning, they were like so tight. So they played always at the same time, usually for the Beat Rock Fest, Superman is Dead and Navikula. Every time Navikula plays, oh my God. And then just because I love them, so I was blinded by them. And then the problem came up when we tried to pick the first single for Navikula. So the A&R guy was like, "Oh, which one we should use?" Because the even the title of the song, "Dead River," feeling supremacy, chlorophyll. So it's all about the freedom. It's all about the environment. So it's not like Superman is dead. Today's punk,
Yeah, right. Yeah. They're a totally different angle.
Yeah, totally different
I mean,
angle.
they're such different bands.
Yeah, and they already started this from 2004, man. It wasn't a trend yet.
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh my God, they are so forward thinking.
So what was like? Because it is easy to say with a band like Navikula, anyone that's pushing the environmental stuff now, it's very easy to say, "Oh, you're doing it because it's the new wave of thinking. Yeah. It's the new cool, or it's the new way to sort of to be outspoken." Clearly, they were doing it before that. Yeah. So, what do you think was it that drove them into that? I mean, it's one thing to be grunge, like and rock and all that sort of alternative lifestyle indie band. But a lot of indie alternative bands aren't environmental. They don't give a fuck. They're more about heroin.
Yeah.
but so what was driving Navikula? Was it driven more by Robbie, or was it the band as a whole, or why were they so concerned with the environment?
I think when it comes to the thought or the perspective and everything, it's more about Robbie.
Yeah,
because
he's so proactive now, even through this whole period of COVID. Man, he does not stop. It's really good. Like, you can see just with it, every time I open my Instagram, like, there's Robbie just out somewhere else in some village just giving out something. What? How do you have the ace? It's
and
wild.
This is so funny as well. In 2004, because the A&R guy, the Golden Ears, was like, "Oh, what should we do with this and everything?" And in the end, okay, from 12 songs, the material for the album. Okay, I think I will pick this one. So he chose, it's called Supremasi Rasa. And then I thought, why he choose this one? He chooses this one. And then, there's this Indian, dung, 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 dung. It's like, there's a dangdut thingy in the beginning. What he didn't realize, it's the pro LGBTQ song. The song.
Oh, really?
Just follow your heart, whoever you love. Your feeling becomes the supremacy of the whatever it is. So if you're a man, you love a man, go for it,
Right.
Nobody realized it. It's all about pro-LGBT. And this country...
that was way before that was going on, especially here in Indonesia.
Yeah. I was like... but I didn't say anything. Just like, oh my God, you don't know what you're doing.
Oh, you like that melody? Okay, yeah. Let's promote that then, Mr. Golden Ears. I love that name too, Golden Ears. It's gold.
2004, he was already pro-LGBTQ.
And he didn't even know it. That's awesome. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, that's why I mean, like with Navikula, you talk about Dead Rivers when all the other Indonesian bands trying to be cheesy, like trying to embrace the market, and good that in the end we decided to not to be with the major label, and even because it wasn't really the time for them,
Sure.
Yeah, not right, and it took them decades, but right now because of their struggling and everything, people respect them more, Yeah. So the world, the universe.
What do you think? Do you think that there will be an overall effect on creativity and different types of music coming out of the COVID times? Like, the whole Renaissance period with art coming out of the Black Plague, right? Just like this whole time of absolute struggle. Have you noticed that there's more bands coming up out of nowhere now with different styles of music and
what this is the thing that not many people know. I mean, not many Balinese realize after I wrote about this. Bali, in a way, when it comes to tourism and economy and everything, Bali is the most suffering in Indonesia, right? Because 90%, almost 100%, just drop. Everything's dropped. people didn't realize that musically speaking, Bali is the most progressive in Indonesia right now. Bali is every all the music sinister they look up to Bali now because there are so many new bands. Not I can't really say new, but because we can still do event and everything.
Yeah, sure.
I went to a few different places in Java during COVID, and then no
It's
event.
just dead. There's nothing
Just
going
dead.
on.
There's nothing going
no
on.
opportunity, no voice,
And
no
here,
platform.
there's Manja, there's Mojorido, there's many bands. And what's so interesting is they so blur the how do you say the in the top 40 places. Like it's either okay, like Mojorido or Manja and everything. You can the bars they don't really the cafes they don't really care about only top 40 songs. No, right now, maybe 60% top 40 songs, 40% your own songs, whatever it is.
Okay.
So it's really blur the line right now. If you
It's giving more voice to people's own creativity rather than being confined to like what they say you should be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah. In all the bar, or all the cafes here, as long as you're good and everything, of course. In cafes, you will sing your own your top 40 songs, right? But it's already okay right now to not like before in the early 2000 and everything. It has to be Hotel California and those stuff.
I guess when there's when it's so dominated by this constant stream of tourism and people just think this is how it is, this is how we work. We've got the money. You don't have the money. You're the band. We're hiring you. This is what we want you to do. But I guess when it's like this, I mean, people are just, can you please play for us? We haven't really got many people here, but can you please play for us? And if you want to play a lot of your own songs too, that's cool. Like, yeah, it just opens up that whole. Yeah, it is amazing how there's always a flip side to the struggle. There's always a positive side, especially creatively.
That's true.
With
and
the
musically speaking, and then that's why I wrote about this from 8 months ago. I started all of my theme of writing. It's all about Bali, this very small place. But if don't battle us about music scene. We are the only one who's still running.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's true. Yeah, because other places, no, they don't really.
It's to be honest, I have noticed there's a lot more just new acts just pushing through and new sounds like from Mojorito to Manja, as you just said. There's such different sounds, but they're forging new paths with those. Yeah, they're really bringing out some new sounds for Bali.
Hopefully, there will be a really, really big new step for Manja. So I'm taking over again. I mean, for Manja, I don't want to manage band anymore. Hydron is just because it's the same like me and you. It's because we are so close and everything's like, oh my God. I can't really leave them.
It just becomes like a normal day, night out. Okay, I'll book you at this venue and we'll all drink some whiskey.
With Manja, it's just because there's this like really big company and offer something, and then we are working on it, and then dude, it's not just national, it's going to be international.
Oh wow, awesome. It's all a bit secretive still, or
because we haven't signed anything yet, but
sure.
But I think sometimes what you realize that nobody really reports what's going on in your place, right? So I've been same with Superman is Dead and Avikila. I've been reporting about what's going on in Bali, because sometimes they just think back then in Indonesia it was the rock cities, Jakarta, Bandung, Surabaya, Medan. Bali is like tourist place, people go there and everything with original music or whatever it is. They don't really they didn't really give us a chance.
It's so true. Like, I mean, man, I've lived here for 12 years. I write original music. I've done, huge amounts of years where I've been playing 4 or 5 gigs a week. And I've mixed a lot of my original music up with because I've become, I've got a lot of I've had a lot of regular gigs where I can just start bringing my own. They don't even realize that I'm playing 50% originals, So like I'll do that because I want to play my own music. And I'll still entertain the people there, but because it's such a transient tourist island, you never feel like you're growing your name as an original songwriter. Simply because people come and even if they love what they saw, they're moving on. They're going on holiday to the next place. So it makes sense that now that the tourism's been pulled back and it's on hold, and it's the only people that are here are the ones that live here, and they're here permanently. They're the ones. That's the perfect time to actually start people noticing the original music that's happening here. It makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm so happy. Finally, someone like noticed about that and everything, and it turns out it's my really close friends. Like, hey, Dethu, do you know this band Manja? I know that you know.
Someone asked you if you knew Manja? Are you serious? Yeah, it's my stepson. So I've met him a couple of times.
Yeah, she didn't know yet. She doesn't know yet. Because that
was a joke, by the way.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I know that you know stuff about music in Bali and blah blah. I was like, yeah. Why do you ask me about Manja? Oh my God, they're so cool. I'm falling in love with them. You know, hey Dethu, I'm building this new company. I was like, okay, what you want to do? This is my plan. It's like, holy shit, man.
Oh, great. That's
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And with the whole Pohon crematorium, has that been a good journey for all these bands? Like, I've noticed that there was a whole sort of, it's that classic thing, right? In hard times, you get together. I don't know if it was based on hard times, but I have noticed that there's always a strength in numbers, and there was a pretty big push for a lot of bands with everyone from Trudy to Mojarito to all these guys all were getting pushed by Pohon crematorium. So what's going on with that?
Yeah, as I told you, so I didn't really want to do this band manager thingy anymore, just because, man, one of the biggest problem is to manage like musicians. I
understand.
And then they have their, in a way, if they don't have their ego, come on, don't be a musician.
It's like the most annoying thing in the world is the musician's ego, but if they don't have it, they're almost boring.
Yeah,
not sellable.
So I mean, like, I've been
that's funny, the irony.
I've been in this business for so many years. And this one is like, okay, with the Athron is the most easy. We like to drink and everything. So, and we know each other so well. So it's still easy. But I don't want to manage any band, and I don't want to get involved in. When I get involved in music scene, I will write about them or just hang out. And I come like tonight. I will come. Dude.
Yeah.
So well, and then if I'm really interested, I will write something about them. Right. So that's all. But because of this Pohon Tua Crematorium. Not just because there's Manja over there, and I was like, this is such a really good move. What Dadang has been doing is like compiling all the really, really interesting bands from Bali. My goal is always about don't underestimate this small island. Two already like really, really great, like Superman is Dead and Afikula. And the Athron is the only, in Indonesia, the Athron is the only band. I'm not trying to be arrogant and everything, but I know what's going on. The only band that they're in rockabilly, they already played in the biggest rockabilly festival, right?
Have they played over there twice in Vegas?
Yeah, in
Las Vegas.
Yeah, in Las Vegas. So, okay, Bali, stop underestimating. That's my I don't know how to say it. Ego maybe, like pride, So that's why Pohon Tua Crematorium, okay. There's no money over there, it's just a labor of love. It's like, dude, Dadang is called me, dude, I have 5 bands over here, and I would like to do this event and then all that, and then the thing, can you be this senior advisor? Just write about the press release and everything. It's like this band, and I heard, and I listened to them. It's like, my God, this will make Bali to the next level in the Indonesian music scene. So I was like, fuck you, man. Okay.
More work, but okay.
Okay.
I believe in the product.
I believe in the product, and then it worked so well. We worked together, and then during COVID, man, Bali is the only dynamic place. The most suffering, economically speaking, but musically
Isn't
speaking.
that interesting? Because, I mean, it has been just... been so brutal for this island, you know.
Yes.
Like it's always hard to get a real gauge on exactly how brutal, because I don't know. You don't really. I end up getting a lot of my sort of media sort of view on what's happening in Bali from outside Indonesia.
Okay.
Like I'll watch Australian news reporting on Bali, and even then you can't. It's always like. I never believe Australian news because they often exaggerate, and there's it's the news, right? They need to sell their stories. So you look at all the international news about what's going on in Bali, but I always find it hard to gauge internally how bad is it really here. But it has been really hard for a lot of people, you know. A lot of people with this whole tourism industry down. I mean, especially for the musicians who I mean, maybe not especially, but I'm in that field, and to know how drastically reduced your income is because no one's hiring any musicians or any entertainment. I mean, entertainment is the first thing to go, right?
Yeah.
Like when a hotel is struggling, the first thing they cut is the entertainment budget. And so it's funny, I remember a while ago, the Orchard G was sort of doing a musicians fund where he was going out and helping a lot of bands, which is great because he had bands playing at his venue all the time, and suddenly he recognised that all these bands were out of work, so he was specifically raising money to give to the families of musicians that were out of work. Yeah. And when he was doing that, I heard a couple of people just kind of jokingly, but there's always a bit of truth in a joke, right? Sort of joking about how, do musicians really need help? I mean, musicians, you know, like, why do musicians need help? Surely there's someone else that needs more help. But then you go, it's funny because the perspective on a musician is that you're just cruising and you're always okay.
Yeah.
Because you're taking the easy life.
Yeah.
But the thing is, man, you literally live month to month. Yeah. And if your gigs are cut and you've spent your whole life practicing this instrument and this craft to try and just finally earn some money, and then finally you do earn some money, no one's giving you a yearly contract and guaranteeing money. If the entertainment industry, if the tourism industry stops, the entertainment budgets are cut, all of a sudden you have no work. And if you've got kids, there's so many musicians here that have wives and kids.
Yeah.
It's been brutal, but it's really nice to hear like a positive side to that, based on what you're saying. Just that people are...
but the top 40 is still very, very struggling, but I think what people need to realize, like when I was in Bandung in December, that big city, only one bar open. I was like, oh, so we did like a...
One bar in Bandung.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like... Bandung is kind of known as the, for people listening that don't know where Bandung is, it's like, it's kind of quite famous as the central creative zone for Indonesia, right? For like fashion, music, and all that stuff,
Yeah, and then we did the video shooting over there. There was this festival and I was involved in there. And it's like, oh, there's still music going on over here. Yeah. But this is the only one in Bandung. Oh, how come? Because it is inside the military complex.
Oh, wow, really?
Nobody was... nobody brave enough to get in. Because the military...
The military are like, we want to be entertained, so fuck you. Don't even think about it.
No. The bar is inside the military complex.
Right, yeah. So no one's going to stop them playing music.
Yeah, no. The bands who are playing, the top 40... whatever band, it was protected by the military. Yeah.
Because the military being entertained, right? Like the military there watching. And
No.
Oh, okay.
They just use the facility, but the bands or the event organizer protected by the military.
You're right, mate. Yeah.
How Indonesia works.
Yeah. I remember the one time that I had military protecting me at a gig, and I was like, man, you're just like this. What level am I on now? Like, it's like not in terms of fame, just in terms of weirdness. Like, it was when I played in a.
Where were you?
It was in the Philippines. It was a funny story actually. Like I got asked to play. I played in Thailand at someone's restaurant, but he was a Filipino guy, and then he contacts me out of the blue and he says, "Look, my family come from an island called Catanduanes. It's like the most northeastern island of the Philippines. Used to get smashed by storms and stuff where it was situated. But anyway, his family got into parliament, like they became the mayor and the governor of the island. So we said, we want to celebrate by putting on a big event. It'll be a fundraiser and a charity event. We want to bring an international act in. And I'm like, well, strong words for me, but okay. I am international because I don't live in the Philippines. So I was like, I'd love to play. And so I said, look, just put me up in whatever, just put me up.
Inferiority complex act.
Yeah. So I went there thinking it was just going to be absolutely totally chilled, and I'd be like in a tent, like I just thought it was really laid back. But I got there. I got to Manado. Sorry, not Manado.
Mindanao.
Manila.
Manila.
Fuck it up. Can't talk. Too many Jamesons. And get picked up by a driver and another guy in the car, and I'm getting driven around to all these bars. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Who are these people? Then I noticed this. I thought it was a lighter in between the two seats that looked like a gun clip. And I'm like, what's going on with the lighter? It looks just like a gun clip. And the driver's friend goes, it is a gun clip. And I'm like, what for? And he goes, for my gun, man. And I'm like, what have you got a gun for? And he's like, I'm your bodyguard. And I'm like, what? Okay. And then I realized I had a bodyguard for this gig. And then I had, like, they got me completely smashed, driving me around to all these bars, got me totally smashed. Then they put me on this flight at like 4 a.m. to fly out to the small island. I get put on this little private little plane. I fly in it, and like just as the sun's rising, I'm sort of waking up drunk and blur, landing on this little island. I look up, and it was like the Beatles had come to town. I'm not kidding. It's the most surreal moment of my life.
Oh my God.
There's military. There's like police escorts. There's like this whole crowd with like banners. I'm like, I think you're mistaking me for someone else. But I was the first person to ever play on that island that wasn't from there. So for them, it was a big deal. So they had got my SoundCloud. I think back then it was MySpace. Remember MySpace? I think they were like playing my songs from MySpace on speakers on the tops of the cars, and we did this big motorcade driving through the city. And then I played at this big charity event. It was awesome. And then like I'm waiting in this back room. There's all this military with big guns standing outside the room. Man, it was so surreal. It was like, wow, this is what's going on in the world of international. I felt more like James Bond, to be honest, but yeah, it was just fun. It was great. Yeah. Absolutely surreal. Yeah.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm John Mellencamp.
I felt like Justin Faker, like just like I'm not a believer, but I snuck in under that bandwagon. Yeah.
What songs did you sing?
Well, it's funny. Like the irony of that was, you go in. I'm like, I practiced up this set of all my original music, and I'm excited. And sure, it was, it was a great event. It's actually really well done, and I played all my original songs, and it was a good fun night. But there's this, you're probably aware, there's this classic thing in the music world where Hotel California is it's the cliched song that you never want to sing. Like every time you do a gig, if someone calls it, play Hotel California, you're like, can you just fuck off? And like, it's the worst request because it's just the most cliched request ever, right? So as an original songwriter, you kind of like got this arrogant attitude of like if someone requests Hotel California, I'm just going to say I don't know how to play it. You know, you've got this attitude, right? And but then over there, like I'm on this tiny little island, and you know these people have never had someone come from the outside to play, and I finish all my original songs, and then someone calls out, "Play Hotel California." And I'm like, well, I'm not going to be an arrogant asshole. I mean, I will play whatever you want. Like this is, of course.
You know how to play.
Yeah, no, man. Yeah, we all know how to play it.
It's not guilty pleasure, but that's how you survive, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I know how to play it. I know the chords. So I went, you know what? Sure, I'll play it for you. So I play Hotel California, and it was one of the most beautiful sing-along moments of my entire life. Like this whole crowd of incredible, beautiful people on this island of Catanduanes in the Philippines singing along Hotel California, and there's this tiny little voice in the back of my brain going, you do realize you're singing Hotel California and having the best time of your life right now, don't you?
God.
And I'm like, this is incredible. I never thought I would ever let myself enjoy this song so much, doing a cover of the Eagles. But yeah, man, it was such a beautiful moment. Yeah. That was hilarious. Yeah.
I heard this story before, but this Hotel California part.
Oh yeah, yeah. I probably left that out.
Wow, so good. So I remember also back then, the early days of Superman is Dead. We went to not East Timor, Nusa Tenggara Timur. How do you say it in English? But yeah, next to East Timor. It's like
West Timor, you mean? Like in Papua or where?
No, in Timor.
In Timor.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
But not East Timor. Yeah?
Oh, West Timor.
Yeah. Oh, West Timor.
Kupang, yeah.
Yeah, Kupang and everything.
Yeah.
But this is like a small place on top of the hill. Yeah, the same. We were in a car, like, and the people on the side of the road, when they were like, stood up, like, hey, everyone. This is a punk rock band. And then they didn't give a shit about you punk rock or not, but they just need entertainment.
Yeah.
So the boys came at the time. I think they dressed up a bit like a Green Day with Selamat malam teman-teman. Bob Marley.
Same thing, right? It's the same thing. Like they just want to be entertained.
Yeah.
And they're just so excited about an international act that any international song is good enough, you know? Yeah. And you have to accept that. You got to be like, man, no one, you know, especially for me, no one knew my original music, so give them what they want, man.
Yes. Yeah. The thing is, they didn't even know how to play instruments like quite well yet. So,
so even Bob Marley was a push. That was a bit tough.
But of course, as punk rock kids, it was like they were offended and blah blah blah. I was like, dude, take it easy.
Fuck this place! They start smashing it up, burning the stage down. We're not playing Bob Marley.
They didn't give a shit about you and your ideology, whatever it is. Bob Marley and then Jamrud, that pop rock band from Indonesia.
It's actually quite ironic that. So like punk rock is like fuck everything and we don't believe in anything, but then they could get offended by their own ideology of not giving a fuck. You know what I mean? Like if you request Bob Marley, we're going to get offended and angry because we don't. It goes against our ideology of no ideology.
That's so true.
Oh, that's gold. Yeah, but it's so. I mean, that's the beauty of traveling to places that have like when you go to places that have no concept of of the outside world and mainstream thought and art and even like anti-art. Yeah. Like, you know, we think we move in circles where often we think anti-art is like the way to think, but then you go to a place that doesn't even know what anti-art is and then
it makes you more wiser.
You just realize, man, it's just anyone's perspective from where they're standing is their perspective, and it's the truth. It's the absolute truth wherever they are. You know, like there's no point trying to bring your ego and your attitude and your like. Why bring that into it? You know, it's like give someone what they want where they're standing. You know? Oh, that's gold. So, what's the next event that you're working on? You're going down to Hard Rock after this, right?
Yeah. It's the Yeah, for the album launch of Mojorido. Yeah.
So tonight's the album launch.
Yeah, tonight
Right.
the album launch, and there's a few other bands as well, and also it's the birthday party of Daria.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then after this, I might go to Jakarta again to just because here there's always people. Hey, dude, I'm here, or like this, or the owner of this bar, like, dude, are you coming? There's a new Japanese whiskey here. Like, it's too bad if you don't show up. It's like, fuck, I have to show up.
Man, now that you've got the reputation as the whiskey ambassador, you're on a freight train, man. I'm just constant.
In a way, it's good. Yeah, finally I get there, but
yeah.
I'm writing two biographies, and it's not an easy job.
Oh man, when I worked for the Beat magazine,
yeah.
I truly learned what it meant to live this fun party, drunken life that was sponsored by going out and you're going out to clubs every night, but you still have to get up and write in the morning, and
like it or not, and it has to be done, right?
You have to do it. You've got deadlines, man. The number of mornings I woke up, I'm like, I only went to bed an hour ago. I'm still off my head. And there's Stewie, the owner of the Beat magazine, knocking on my door going, come on, mate, deadline in 4 hours. And you're like, for fuck's sake, really? But that's the job, right? You have the fun, but you've got to pay the price.
Yeah,
you've got to get the product out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of, I enjoyed, I just came back from Jakarta and met my friends and everything, and I stayed at my friend's house, and okay, this is where I can be like really, really do my work. And in Bali, it's too many distractions.
You should come up north then and stay with me
That's
sometime
what I was about
and do some writing.
to do, and then you're here most of the time.
No, well, I'll be here for another week, and then going back, and I'll be back for. I might pop down still, but I'll be based up there again. Like so in a week from now. But anytime you want to come up and just hang out and just focus on writing, because. Man, if there's one good place to strip your brain away from any distractions, it's where I'm living up north, up there in Bonelum. Yeah, it's a beautiful spot.
Yeah, before I go to Jakarta, maybe I'll just stay at your place.
Yeah, cool, man. Well, we're hitting the end of the sunset. It looks absolutely. That's been a beautiful sunset behind us, hey. Like, look at those colours. Yeah, so we're at Mamaka, everyone, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. But this is a really nice place, and I think I'm coming back.
Yeah. Like we just because we had the rooftop. The whole original rooftop concept was on the roof of our house.
Yeah.
And then just due to the whole COVID and things that went on, we lost that space. But so we decided to reach out and just to people that have awesome rooftops that we can represent in Bali and Mamaka. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Awesome
this is awesome.
we filmed Arita and the Bandits last night, so that we'll release that soon. But it's just such a good spot for a rooftop view, huh? It's awesome. And I would never have known that this was here, so it's good to know it's here.
For sure, I'm coming back.
Yeah.
I'll bring my friends.
Well, man,
here.
Thanks for coming and doing another podcast.
Right,
really appreciate it. Yeah, cheers.
Right.
Awesome. Enjoy the rest of the night. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Bali Rooftopers.
Thank you, Mamaka.
Catch you again soon. Adios, amigos.
See ya.
Sampai jumpa.
Sampai jumpa.
Cool, man. All right. That was fun. Yeah, that was good.
Hey, there's a